What's up with it? This your boy Chris B. Louisiana made Chris, young Louisiana, the whole nine. And today is about something special. Well, not as special, but it's like basically a story time about my tragic life, about how on the day that I almost died, and it's about me as a Hurricane Katrina survivor and how I managed to survive that at the age of 8 years old, and what are the memories that I remember most of what happened and stuff like that I remember. And here I go. Well, growing up, when I was like living in Houston at the time, well, there's times where I didn't always, to be honest with y'all, there was times where I never lived in Houston like that. I lived, well, technically, honestly, y'all, the majority of my childhood, y'all know, I lived in Houston and Hammond, Ponchatoula, and New Orleans. So it was the year 2005, right? I'm on my summer break and stuff because at this time I'm in elementary school. I went to Dogan off of Liberty Road in Houston and all that. And sometimes I would like live in Houston. Sometimes I would live like in Ponchatoula, Louisiana. Cause honestly, at this time, my mom was not in my life. So who was in my life that had who was my legal guardians at the time was my Uncle Clarence, who was living in Houston. He be back and forth from Louisiana to Texas and all that. And also my other who was my legal guardian, was my grandma and stuff like that at the time. R.I.P. to both of them. So from Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, I would go to school in Houston, and I would live because from Houston to Louisiana, it's like a 3 to a 4 hour drive, depending on how you drive. Depending on how the traffic, it could take you 5 hours to get from the East Texas way to all the way into the Louisiana border and all that. So when you hit like, I believe, Interstate I-10 or something like that, but that's here and there. So for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I would go to school in elementary school from Houston and all that, and live in Houston. Then from Thursdays, Fridays, on the weekends, my uncle, even though he still works on the weekdays and on the weekends and stuff like that, since my grandma, so basically my grandma and my uncle was taking turns taking care of me. So from like Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturday and Sundays, sometimes my grandma would go catch a flight, hit Houston, take me to Louisiana. But at this time, she wasn't living in Hammond, Louisiana at the time, or Ponchatoula, she mainly was living in the Hammond area, in the Tangible Hall Parish area. So she moved to New Orleans, I believe, off of Robert Street. That's like the 17th Ward, like nearby the 17th Ward and all that. The Ferret neighborhoods and all that. It was between the Ferret neighborhood and the 17th Ward and all that area and shit like that. So excuse my language, y'all. So I try my hardest not to cuss in my videos, but anyways, Houston. So Thursdays, Fridays, Saturday, and Sundays, my grandma would have custody of me and would catch a flight, take me to Louisiana. I would live there. Then Mondays, Mondays that my Uncle Clarence would drive all them long 4 hours to get me from Louisiana, from New Orleans, and take me right back to Houston when I was out of school. But since this was like easy and stuff, and I was on summer break and school was laid out, I spent my whole summer break. I always spent my whole summer breaks in Louisiana. So I would always go back and forth from Houston to Louisiana and all that, the state that I was born in. So I remember. Now this getting into the Hurricane Katrina, about what I remember. I remember that I was playing video games on my PlayStation 2. I was home alone, playing Street Ball Volume 2. My uncle and my grandma told me that they was like about to go to the store real quick, because the Hurricane Katrina did not start yet. So they been gone for like, I don't know, like an hour or two or some shit like that. And then next thing you know, the Hurricane Katrina happened. The power went off. I'm like playing my game while the power's off. I'm mad as hell. Luckily, I had a memory card on my PlayStation 2. Next thing you know, water come underneath the door and stuff. It's flooding and shit like that. I'm trying to like get into the safest spot. The safest spot I believe was the bathroom. I'm panicking and stuff, not knowing what to do during this Hurricane Katrina. I head to the bathroom, but I was too late. Next thing you know, the house that I was in, it was a shotgun crib that I was staying in. So it was kind of raggedy and shit like that. Most like houses in New Orleans was like raggedy and all that. So the ceiling was so messed. This one was so strong and powerful that the ceiling on the roof, the pieces of the roof fucking hit my fucking head and stuff like that. That I fell to the ground and I was fucking unconscious. While the water was like heading, was like coming, like running, like heading towards the like fucking like door and all that. As I'm like unconscious and not responding, not responsive and all that, I almost fucking drowned and all that. And at the time this hurricane shit happened, my Uncle Clarence and my grandma was like 2 minutes away, and they made it in time. My Uncle Clarence made it in time to kick the fucking dough in. Get that pieces of thing that fell off the ceiling of the roof and stuff. Took it off me and all that. Tried to punch my chest and give me CPR, but I was unconscious and all that. And he took me into the bathroom. According to him, he took me to the bathroom when he was alive at the time, telling me this. He took me to the bathroom, and me, him, and my grandma, we was into bathroom where it was a safe spot. We was in the tub, but I was unconscious. I didn't know what the F was going on. And then next thing you know, I'm in a coma for a month. I was in a coma for a month and stuff like that. I believe I was in Charity Hospital when I was in a coma, but at this time, everything in the hospital was all flooded and all that. It was packed, it was full and all that. And then, what wound up happening to me and stuff, I was on life support. What wound up happening to me is that they had to transport me to another hospital, which was a city that I was born in, which was North Oaks in Hammond, because Hammond and Ponchatoula, the Hurricane Katrina didn't hit Hammond. It didn't hit most of Louisiana. So like Baton Rouge, Hammond, and Ponchatoula, the Hurricane Katrina wound up affecting, but it wasn't as effective as New Orleans was. So I wound up being in a coma in Hammond and North Oaks, the hospital that I was born in. And for then on that, that's how it all happened. A piece of shit from the roof, from the ceiling, hit me on the head and knocked me down as I almost drowned while the water was coming in the ground of the concrete from the door and stuff and from the windows and shit. And I almost lost my life at 8 years old. And y'all would have never saw me do these videos and stuff. And I thank the Lord all the time for blessing me that I'm still alive, I'm still living, and I could have died in that Hurricane Katrina. And afterwards, but I've been in 2 hurricanes. I've been in Hurricane Katrina, which was the only Hurricane Katrina that almost killed me. And then when I was in Houston, I've been in Hurricane Ike, and that's about it. So there y'all have it, is how that the day that I almost died in the midst of the Hurricane Katrina, when I was living and staying, however y'all want to call it, in New Orleans at the time of the Hurricane Katrina. And I'm proud to say that I'm a Hurricane Katrina survivor. And thanks for listening, and one love, and peace out. You heard me? Peace.